Hello, I'm Kaylee,
And I'm Shay.
and we are paying off a lot of student loan debt and just trying to live. We are here today to take a look at our brand new, newly formed 5-year plan.
I wouldn't say newly formed.
It's newly written down.
I would say
Newly,
improved and updated
yeah,
5-year plan.
It's the first time I've written one down, and like we've talked about it a lot, for sure. But I've never like written it down and like formalized it. So it is now formalized on a page on a screen. So as formalized as little colors and numbers on a screen can be.
Yeah.
We also we are ill, so our voices are a little all over. Shay's drinking a nice little tea.
Yeah.
I'm having my regular coffee because we know what happens if I don't. But yeah, 5-year plan. Let's take a look. So we talk about money a lot, quite often.
Yeah.
Sometimes on camera like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes off camera when we want to have tense discussions. But we have been talking about our like long-term and ongoing goals since like the second day after we met.
Oh, yeah.
Like pretty early. So we talk about those things a lot. And I think we're pretty in tune with the direction we want things to go.
I would say we are very aligned.
Yeah, we're very aligned. We both know what we want. There are things that are important to both of us. How do I say that? There are things that are important to each of us individually, and then there are things that are important to both of us together. And I think we've reached a really good middle ground of prioritizing all those things and making sure they're getting done in a way that make us comfortable. And that, it didn't start that way. It was a lot of conversations. It was a lot of coming to a mutual understanding of why we felt the way we did about certain things.
Yes.
Like, we had very different childhoods and backgrounds, and the way we approach money was, I would say the approach was the same, but the reason was different.
Yes.
After a lot of, when we first met, we didn't have that understanding, and now I think we do, and there's a lot of difficult conversations. So I don't want to present this 5-year plan and make people think we sat down, wrote out all this stuff, and then we're like, cool, we're done.
Yeah.
I
would also say that at the time that we met, we were on the tail end of it, I would say, but both of us still very much in survival mode.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And now we're reaching, spoiler alert to our word of the year, but like an era of abundance. And learning how to navigate that.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound annoying to people who are in survival mode, and I recognize that, but learning how to navigate abundance is, I think, just as difficult as navigate for me, at least.
Yeah, for you.
It's more difficult.
Yeah.
Than when I was, ow! Harvey! What was I saying?
That abundance is difficult for you.
Yeah, abundance is difficult for me to grapple with just because when I was in survival mode, the decisions are made for you.
Yeah. And
you don't have to think about it because you don't have a choice. And now there's a lot to think about, and I have to decide what my priorities are because they're not going beyond pay rent, buy food.
Yeah.
That used to be it, basically. We're entering this era where we have to decide what our long-term life looks like and what we want it to look like and what are we going to prioritize today to make the rest of our lives easier. So we sat down. Actually, what happened was I just wrote down all this stuff. I wrote down everything in my brain that I wanted to happen over the next 5 years. I did this a couple months ago. I just wrote down everything I wanted to happen over the next few years, and I just made a list. It didn't look like this. This is me being crazy. But I just wrote down, like, I want to be debt-free when I'm 35. I want to have this amount saved for retirement. I want to have all that. And then I broke it down by year, and then we looked at it together, and now we're kind of here.
Yeah.
So this is... Dude, you're so distracting. Some of these are obvious. Some of them are less obvious. Some of them are realistic. Some of them are not realistic. And we're just going to go over where they stand right now and then what has changed just even in conversation. So on the left here is original draft, what it started as, goals for this year, where I wanted my student loans to get down to $140,000 get our annual income. The original plan at the beginning of this year was we wanted our joint annual income to be over 100. We did that. I wanted a net worth that was 5 figures. I know that it's still negative, but 5 is better than 6. I wanted my Fat Fire number, that financial independence number that we are looking at, to be $150 a month. I wanted originally to have a fully funded 1-month emergency fund, keep our eating out budget or our spending under $2,500, and then have at least $3,500 saved for the wedding. We will have a 2023 wrap-up video where we go over how that all planned out, because we still have a good week and a half left of December. So, could go either way. Check out that next video. And then 2024, I want to get that Fat Fire number up to 200. I'm banking this on that fire number that I track, where if I retired today, how much my retirement would pay out. And I have fully guesstimated these numbers, this 200, 250, 325, like that's all based on gut feeling and vibes. That's not, I don't know how much it's going to grow. I don't know how much it's going to go up. I don't know any of that. So if these numbers seem wacky in any direction, like you're like, that's obviously going to happen. That's fine. I'm just writing stuff down to have a benchmark of growth. In 2024, we're getting married, and we want to have a minimum of $10,000 saved up. And then I've just got, so the rest of it is just the same year over year. So get the student loans down a little bit more, student loans down some more, student loans down some more, and then net worth tracking. I would like to, and then there's also, we want to save up for a down payment and buy an apartment in New York, which is not cheap. When I say buy an apartment, you probably think it's less money than whatever you spent on your house, and it's not. So this would be basically buying our starter home.
Yes.
And then, you know, obviously after that, after starter home and getting married, we don't know. I mean, really, that's the real kicker is we don't, you know, our plans go out 5 years because I want to be debt free, but before I turn 36, really would be nice. It's a lot of money. I think that's the one that's like least. The rest of these are probably going to happen. But the debt free by 36 is, that's a stretch. It's a lot of money. So yeah, it's debt free by 36 is a big goal. I don't think it's impossible, but I think it's going to be difficult. I think it also hinges on performances at work, like if I get big raises or something, which this year I did in this course of the year. So it's not impossible, but that's a stretch. And then this is the one that I made at first. And then we sat down and looked at them and made the 2024 version going into this year. So I think my plan is to just every year we'll copy it over so we have reference, right?
Yeah. You had already made this up when I came into the conversation.
Yeah, but I was changing it when we were talking.
Your 2024 adjustments.
Yeah.
They could have already been done.
Yeah, but I like to have that conversation with us together.
I know.
Before I make the adjustments. But I made this plan of like, okay, we're going to mark the end of year outcome here, and then we'll go over to 2024 and do the next 5, and then we'll keep bouncing down. So 2024 goals, get that Fat Fire $200 a month, save the minimum $10K for the wedding.
We're at 61% right now.
We're 61% of that before, you haven't even gotten all your paychecks for the year yet. So we're chilling, looking great.
Yep.
Get the student loans down under 130. In here, you'll see in 2023 it was said 140. This is only 10K less, and that's because I'm adjusting it because I'm not going to hit this. So this will end up being about a $15,000 throughout the year, which is reasonable, I think. Because I wanted to make sure they were actually attainable, you know? And then again, like, this is like a big jump from 130 to 95, but I'm leaving the stretch goals for years beyond, and then I'll adjust year over year as we get there. And then I want to have, I'm not going to hit this fully funded emergency fund this year either. So just, you know, I made all these goals, just things I want, and then I made them kind of arbitrarily, and then I'm going to adjust as we go because nothing's set in stone. negative 75K. We're about negative 95 right now, so that feels pretty reasonable as well.
Yeah.
And then get our down payment. After we're done paying for the wedding, I want to start saving for a down payment, so get that down payment to 5. And then we're also, for our wedding, we're not asking for gifts because we
simply don't have anywhere to
we
put
live
them.
in New York City.
Yeah.
We don't need all this like stuff that people get for like, we've lived together for a year and a half,
Yeah.
quite a while, and like we don't need things in our house. Please, there's nowhere to put the things. So we're just doing like a down payment fund, and so we're hoping, I mean, obviously if anyone can give anything, great, and if not, totally fine, but we're hoping to help kickstart that down payment fund after the wedding with gifts from the wedding. So
Yes.
how does it feel to have the 5-year plan to you?
I don't know. I've never really jived with the idea of a 5-year plan personally.
Mhm.
I've always felt that having such specific long-term goals was never as useful to me as having general long-term goals and specific short-term goals. So, like, the reason that there's not, much from me on this 5-year plan is that my personal long-term goals are much more amorphous, I would say, than yours. Like, one of my goals for the next 5 years is to really diversify our avenues of savings.
What does that mean?
Like, I want to have, I want to have a lot of eggs in different baskets. So I want to, make sure that we have robust savings in the stock market and in high yield savings accounts and in regular savings accounts that we can access easily and have, basically we're like diversifying like our own personal portfolios.
Yeah.
Beyond just what we have in the stock market.
That sounds more like an investor policy statement.
Well, I consider it a goal.
It is a goal. It's a goal. Yeah. And I think it's hard to kind of imagine what we'll be able to do.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we're done paying off the student loans, it's going to feel like our income shoots up immediately.
Yeah.
So it's hard to even imagine. Like, we're building a plan to start saving for a down payment with the money that we have right now. And I don't consider the money that we're putting towards the student loans part of that at all. So it's going to be like right now, I'm putting $1,200 a month towards a student loan. So it'll be, the second those are paid off, it'll be like we're getting minimum a $1,200 a month raise.
Yeah.
Which is pretty drastic.
It is.
So, and that's post-tax, after-tax money raised, direct cash flow into the bank.
Yeah.
So it is hard to imagine, and that's also why I like to write this stuff down, because this is stuff I can accomplish while also doing that.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just, I'm staring at a barrel of student loans for the next 5 years. It feels absolutely impossible.
Yeah, that's super fair.
So,
I mean, I've got obviously the goal for the wedding is like the big thing that I'm focused on right now. And I'm not going to even think about another short-term goal until I've accomplished that one.
Yeah. Because
this is all, it's too much for my brain. I can't.
This anchors my brain and this overwhelms your brain.
Yeah.
Because we're different. Hey. That's our current 5-year plan. What do other people's 5-year plans look like? Because we obviously are just winging it here.
In a big way.
I feel like there's probably a lot more people that think like you and are overwhelmed by this idea than there are, because my student loan debt is so monumental. There's a lot less people, I think, who are staring at the barrel of 6 figures of student loans,
Yeah.
So, and it makes sense. So, tell us what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe, as the people say. That's all. Okay, goodbye. Start telling me what to say at the end, because I'm so bad at the end of these videos. Thanks very much. We'll see you soon.
Bye.